Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the long anticipated one. This is the biggie. This is the announcement. We are firing our programming buddy, also known as Gemini. And we're hiring a new programmer in the building, ChatGPT, GPT-5 to be precise. So, our good old pal Gemini, as you can see, it's very sad to go. This is the last image that Gemini generated. So we're going to replace this with ChatGPT's generation. So let's take a quick look. All right, and this is what ChatGPT came up with. Much more sleeker, much more 3D, not comic-like, but different in certain ways, 3D animation style. Image generation, and from here on out, this is going to be our new programming buddy. This is our new series of our 2D platformer game development with Unity. So before we begin, let's quickly do a recap on what we've done so far, and then we'll get right into the new series, okay? So with the help of Gemini, we've built our movement, our enemies, our animations, levels, mobile controls, and all that good stuff. And what better way to show it than just to give you guys a gameplay here. So just real quick, I'm going to walk through what we have so far. Here's our little enemy. There's also a moonwalker. He moves backwards. We got the spikes there. We got our gold coins. Actually, they are oranges, if you remember. And here's our trophy. And we've just completed our level 1. And on to level 2. Let's do a quick run through as fast as I can, just to show you guys the power up we have. And I fell on the spike there, so from the game over screen, we can go back to our beginning of the game, but in this case, I'll go back to the main menu. But before I do that, there are also the on-screen buttons we have. So our left and right and jump, and our level counter, our point, and our power-up display icon there. And back to the main menu. So in this series, basically ChatGPT comes in and they have to understand the code base, find the weaknesses, and prove that it can do better. Can it do better? Well, we're going to find out. Before we go too far, here's where we left off on episode 1 of the Gemini series. So, this is what we started with. So, we had nothing but empty shapes and squares and this capsule running around. And from going from this to this, oh, I'm trying to click the video. To this in 30 days is not bad if you ask me, okay? So that's some solid progress, but now Gemini is fired. I'm sorry. And ChatGPT comes in to pick things up. And I have ChatGPT pulled up here. I ended up paying for the paid model, so that is about $25 Canadian a month. And we are going to turn up the model a notch. And the first thing ChatGPT will be doing is analyzing what we have so far. So this is our game, and here's going to be our very first prompt. And just so you know, what I just dropped there is basically from my GitHub repo. I just downloaded the file, so code and then download zip, and that's what that file is. So this Gemio main. And yeah, let's work on the prompt, and it's gonna be, here is the game we developed with the assistance of our AI buddy Gemini over 30 days. Analyze the code, figure out the project structure, find bugs, find messy code that you don't like, and get up to speed in general. Let me know if you require me to provide any screenshots or any other information. You will be our programming buddy over the next 30 days. And yep, extra high is set. So let's go ahead and drop our first prompt. And just so you know what it's up to. And this is probably going to take a while, so I will be skipping things, pausing and resuming recording, so it might appear fast on the video, but it will probably take a while since we're using the extra high model 5.6. So just to read what's going on, treating this as a full project handoff, so it's mapping the Unity structure and gameplay systems, trace how the main scripts interact, run whatever static checks are available, and produce a prioritized list of bugs, fragile areas, and cleanup targets. GPT will leave the code untouched for the first pass, so we have a clean baseline. The archive is clean and complete enough to inspect. It's a Unity 6.5 project with 6 scenes. 6 scenes? 6 scenes? I don't see 6 scenes. We got 5. Anyway, going back in here. So 22 prefabs, 13 C# scripts, URP. I don't know what that is. Cinemachine and the new input system. I'm moving from the asset inventory into the actual runtime flow now. Player controls enemies, pickups, death spawns, respawn, checkpoints, audio, and scene progression. And let's wait for it to finish its thing. On the side, looks like it's gonna inspect the archive safely and map the Unity project structure, followed by trace gameplay systems, scenes, prefabs, data flow, and dependencies. Gonna audit scripts for bugs, fragile logic, and maintainability problems. Run available validation or static checks without modifying the project, and finally deliver a prioritized handoff, report, and request only genuinely needed visuals or context. And while it's at it, okay, we got something new here. The main scene wiring is intact. Each playable level has one player, UI, game manager, audio manager, kill zone, and goal. The game manager references are overridden correctly in all 4 playable sandbox scenes. I've also confirmed the mobile controls and moving platform waypoints are wired. So by I mean ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is preparing real defects from harmless prefab defaults rather than flagging every null field blindly. Yeah, let it do its thing. And in the meantime, I also had a couple of things we should be tackling sometime soon. These are kind of things or I rather, wanted to do in the Gemini series, but we didn't have enough time. We were already on episode 30, and I didn't want to drag it longer. But we need a real background instead of this white wall we have. Maybe add a boss. We need our buttons to look good because these don't really cut it, right? These are ugly buttons, even though they're kind of translucent, so you can see through. But even then, you know, we need nice looking buttons, in my opinion. And then we definitely need a pause menu. Pause the game, restart the game. Should be able to be done by the player without having to die. So all that good stuff, but we'll get to these once it's done with its analysis, which seems like will take quite some time actually. So yeah, I'll see how long it takes, and as soon as we have more info here, I'll unpause the video, okay? All right, seems like it's sped up towards the end, so let's go with the response here. It says I'm up to speed. The archive is healthy. All custom scripts resolve, and the 3 playable scenes have their required player, managers, UI, audio, goal, and kill zone wired correctly. Awesome. Those are all props to Gemini because I had no idea how to develop game in Unity before this project. So great guidance there. I did not modify anything, so the project structure, the build is, I don't want to click on anything. The build flow is main menu to level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to back to main menu. So Level 1, we got 45 coins. Level 2, 65 coins. Level 3, we got 120 coins. And by the way, if you haven't seen the level 3 episode, it's a new series I started where we only build things, no no coding at all. So if you haven't seen it, you can go check it out. But again, there's going to be no actual coding. It's only building out levels. Anyway, so we got 120 coins, coin tracks, 3 enemies, 2 moving platforms, and the double jump pickup. Sandbox is excluded from the build. That's right. So the architecture is currently player controller.cs. Well, I'll stop saying .cs. It's our C# script. Movement, jumping, double jump animation, and player audio. Game manager, that's where we track our score and game over state. UI manager, that's our HUD, the game over panel. Restart buttons or menu buttons. And the level goal, this is where we freeze the player and also load the next build index scene. We got separate script for enemies, hazards, moving platforms, coins, and the double jump pickup. Keyboard, gamepad, input plus mobile buttons that simulate gamepad controls. We got cinemachine tracking and confinement in every playable level. Scene local managers, meaning score, power ups, and music state restart between scenes. Okay, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All right, this is the important part of the video, bugs and fragile behavior. The first 3 deserve attention before adding more levels. Enemies do not actually detect ledges, so patrolenemy.cs calls its check wall edge, but it only tests whether the side probe overlaps ground. It can turn out walls, but there is no downward ground ahead probe, so an enemy can walk off a platform. That's true, that's true. That's why we have been adding. Just gonna zoom in a little bit. We've been adding these edges that stick out for our enemies to not fall off. um, but yeah, he's right, or ChatGPT's right. I hate saying it, ChatGPT. So it's too much. Anyway, moving platforms use unreliable physics. Moving platform moves the colliders, transform, and update without a rigid body 2D. Then parent the player on any collision, including contact from the side or underneath. This can produce jitter, tunneling, odd momentum, and accidental parenting. Okay, okay. Interesting. Let me try to understand what is being said here. Okay, so it doesn't like the way we make the moving platform the parent of the player. So it seems like we make it the parent of the player from any collision, so we're not detecting it when the player strictly lands on top of it, right? If we have any contact from the side or even underneath the moving platform still would become the parent of the player, and this can apparently produce jitter, tunneling, odd momentum, and accidental parenting. So it wants us to change the way we're doing things and also have some top contact detection logic in there. Number 3, enemy stomps are determined only by object position, so a player whose center is sufficiently above the enemy is considered to have stomped it, even during certain side collisions. Okay, it wants to contact normals plus the player's downward velocity would be much more reliable. Okay, okay. Win and death are competing global states. Level goal dot is level complete. Time dot timescale and unguarded trigger game over calls work in ordinary cases. Calls work in ordinary cases, but simultaneous goal or hazard contact is callback order dependent. Simultaneous goal or hazard contact is callback order dependent. Okay, so a single playing slash one slash dead state in Game Manager would remove this race and prevent duplicate game over triggers. Okay. The goal prefab is incomplete. The animator is manually added as an override in every scene rather than living in the level goal prefab. Dropping the prefab into a new level would produce a goal that functions but does not animate. Really? Hmm, interesting. Progression. Let me actually test it out real quick. Okay, so let's go to our sandbox scene we have, and what if we drop our level goal prefab level goal right here, maybe somewhere here, and see if it doesn't animate if we actually run into it. Oh yeah, it didn't animate. Wow, that's crazy. Well, anyway, so yeah, it's absolutely right. Number six, progression data is unfinished. Level data is unused. Score, high score, unlock state, and double jump do not persist. That's absolutely true. Between levels, that may be intentional. No, I was gonna bring it up. So let me just add it to our nice little notepad here. Persist, score, high score, unlock state, and double jump, and or let's see, we gotta put some more thought into how we want it. Um, what else we got? We should decide before building progression around it for sure. Last thing, coin collection may stutter on mobile. It doesn't on my Pixel, but I can understand like lower performing mobiles could have some effects. Every pickup instantiates a particle object, and audio source play clip at point creates another temporary audio object. Level 3 has 120 coins. The particle object correctly destroys itself, so this is not a leak, but rapid collection can create allocation spikes. An SFX source and small particle pool would be cleaner. Cool. I'll take your advice and make clean implementations. All right, so that's the bugs and fragile behavior. Let's go into messy code and project organization. Nothing warrants a rewrite, but I would clean up this coin curve prefab, and these are the things we built in the level 3 building out series. Contains 5 copied coin implementations, while every other coin formation nests gold coin prefab. Contains 5 copied coin implementation, while every other coin formation nests gold coin prefab. I don't know what that means. 5 coins horizontal. So let me delete all these coins from our sandbox. Yeah. And let's see, 5 coins horizontal, curved, this one, right? So let's put this here. Let's also put a 5 coins horizontal. These are all gold coins. And so are these. Oh, okay. So for this one, I guess I didn't use the prefab. I used something else. So that was unintentional, but good thing I caught it. All right, future coin changes will not propagate to the curved formation. Gotcha. So that's something that should be a quick fix. Game manager and UI dependencies rely on repeated scene overrides. Okay. Has double jump unlocked as a public mutable field instead of an encapsulated player capability. Okay. Hazard and patrol enemy contain unused scene management imports. The input asset retains unused attack, crouch, interact, sprint, XR, and joystick actions. There are no tests or assembly definitions. Several authored assets sit loose at the root of assets, and an orphaned resources meta remains. Several likely unused Unity packages that are installed, including multiplayer, visual scripting, timeline. Okay. Anyway, shipping configuration still uses default company. Android identity versioning needs a release pass. I don't know what that means, but let's see what it needs from us. I don't need screenshots to understand the code to complete the runtime visual handoff. The most useful material would be a short clip of an enemy approaching a platform edge. So let me just notify. Let's just quickly relist each point it brought up. So things you asked from me. You're right. The enemy would fall off. We have created raised edges to prevent this from happening. Do you do you still need a clip of enemy approaching a platform edge? Note that there is no scenario where this happens because of the raised edges. Raised edges. Clip of riding, jumping from, and colliding with a moving platform from below. Clip of riding, jumping from. Okay, okay. Colliding with a moving platform. I can definitely do that. You got it. You got it. We'll upload soon. One actual phone screenshot showing the controls and one showing the game over screen. Sure, I could definitely do that. For sure, we'll upload soon. Okay. A screenshot of the Unity console after clearing it and playing from main menu through level 3. For sure. Coming soon. Again, everything will be coming soon because, hey, what is going on, bro? It is very easy to just accidentally click things and trigger things that I don't want, you know. Anyway, your known bugs list, roadmap, and any rules Gemini was following, not included in the repository. Okay, so this one, roadmap, and any rules Gemini was following. So, one bug that I did notice, and I didn't tell you guys about it either, but I'll show you. And that is in our level 2. I'll save the sandbox and move on to level 2. And you can get stuck here actually. So let me show you what I mean. See, if you stop here now, it's impossible for you to get out. I don't know if this would be considered a bug because I could just, bring this to the ground and lower everything else. But the other thing you might find interesting is if you just keep sprinting. Oh, sometimes if you keep sprinting, it can run through. It looks like it didn't happen this time. Let me try one more time, maybe. Maybe from this side. Boom. No, didn't happen. Yeah, so you're stuck, basically. Anyway, I wouldn't really consider that a bug, maybe. Or did notice on level 2 was that you can get under a tile object, tile, but then get stuck under there and not be able to come out. I can share a screenshot later. And finally, let's see, roadmap along with roadmap and rules. I'll have to think. And lastly, weather score and double jump should persist across level. Again, let me think. For scores, for sure. For double jump, not sure yet. Let me get back to you. But for this episode, I do want to tackle something real quick. So maybe just the pause menu for the very first thing though. Could we quickly implement a pause menu as I believe it's a critical piece of functionality that's currently missing. And for this prompt, once we have our pause menu, I will address all the points we just talked about. And, just went down a notch and see where it takes us. I could always deny this request. Might have been just easier to do the quick do the persistence of the power up and score rather than pause menu. So let's see. We might change our mind again. There's nothing is set in stone. Okay, so let's see how long this work is gonna take, and we might move on to persisting stuff across levels. Because right now, quickly show you if we finish our level. And by the way, the audio is muted. Otherwise, you would be hearing some background music of the game. But, we collected 30 coins, 33, 37 coins, and as soon as we move on to the next level, it resets. So that is probably, see, I was able to come out this time. So it looks like if you do it super fast, you just come on. Yeah, you can do it, but if you stop there, you're pretty much stuck. And we don't have a pause menu, so you have to, you're kind of stuck for good. And you gotta exit out. So anyway, adding that pause menu in there, it's gonna be a way to avoid this bug. But yeah. All right, so pause menu implementation across all 3 levels. Oh my god, it just did it itself. That's not what I wanted. Bro, didn't want you to do it for me. Just guide me on how to do it myself. That is a very different approach than what Gemini was taking, right? So anyway, for this one, I think what I will do, what is that? Included top right mobile pause button, paused overlay. You know what? Just this one time, I will download its implementation and see what it looks like. Okay, guys, just this one time, we will be copying and pasting our stuff that ChatGPT just dropped. So replace. And it probably has to recompile. Probably, yeah, compiling scripts. So let's wait for that to finish and then see what the pause menu that ChatGPT came up with actually looks like. And I worry that it might look too polished, actually. All right, modified our scenes, and let's see. Let's start from the main menu. I will be very impressed though. It just starts working right off the bat. Okay, we got this pause button up top. The only thing about this that concerns me is that we have our power-up double jump, power-up icon that shows up right at the same area. So, which is why I will go to level 2 before we test it out. It looks like it even disappears when you hit the level gold trophy there. And See, you cannot see the icon underneath the pause button, which is why I do not recommend doing it like this. I think it's better to just build things out yourself, but it's time to test out the button and see what it looks like. Okay, and now we can see our icon there, and we got the resume. Or we can go to our main menu. Both buttons are working, but again, the problem is it is on top of our icon for the power-ups, so not what we want exactly. Okay, now let's take a look at what it actually changed here. Let's see what kind of clues ChatGPT gives us. Alright, so what it does is top right mobile pause button, paused overlay with resume and main menu, escape key, pause or resume, gameplay and audio freezing, automatic pause when the mobile app is backgrounded, um, save time, audio restoration on, resume, restart in main menu, pause disabled after death or level completion, the overlay reuses the game over screen styling and is generated when play mode begins. Okay. No enemy edge clip is needed. I've also recorded score persistence as required. Recorded score persistence? Oh, okay, okay. Did it actually implement it though? See, this is the first time and the last time we're doing this. From now on, every time we make a change, it's going to be done by us and not just copy and drop the spit out from ChatGPT onto our game. But anyway, we got 25 points. And it resets. Okay, so it didn't change our score persistence yet, which is good. Now let's see what it actually changed. Okay. And for that to happen, we need to do some good old git. So let's see what it actually ended up changing. Whoa. What the actual? What the hell? Yeah, those episode 1 is actually on to a rough start. We will discard everything that ChatGPT did with this pause button or the pause menu and build it ourselves, okay? So it's not going to be done in this one because I'm tired. We will begin on the next one. And I'm sorry, the episode 1 turned out not to be as polished and as groovy as I thought it was going to be. It is a bit of a bumpy road, it seems like. Um, but yeah, this is going to be our first prompt, probably in the next episode. And yeah, I had no idea if you tell ChatGPT to make a change, it's going to implement the whole thing and give you just spit out a zip file of the updated project. I thought it was going to be the same style as Gemini and guide you through the process rather than spit it out like this. But anyway, we learn things slowly and catch you guys in the next one.